Okay. If we have any folks trickle in, I'll kind of watch and make sure if we have any more folks come in. So I am recording just so everybody knows. These will go up on the Transfer Fair website. That way those who couldn't attend can watch later. But this is our last session for today. You'll be hearing from Heather Stafford in Student Health Services. She's got a great presentation for us today and some really great information. You guys are awesome. You've already muted and turned your cameras off. If time allows and you have questions, I'm sure Heather would be okay with you guys unmuting and asking any questions you have towards the end of the presentation. If you are more comfortable putting it in the chat, you can do that at any time. I'll be monitoring the chat and then we'll go back through any questions that we get in there. Please stick around to the end of the presentation. You will get the link to, it helps me track attendance, but that's also your way to sign up for those giveaway items. So every student who attends 3 unique sessions, you will automatically get some Shocker Pathway gear, but that is also how we're going to do the drawing for the $500 scholarship. So I will put that link in the chat box at the end of the presentation, so please stick around. And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and turn this over to Heather. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Heather Stafford. I'm a registered nurse, but I'm also the Associate Director of Student Health Services. And I'm going to show you our website and some ways where you can find a lot of information on our site, as well as COVID information that you might be interested in. I think sometimes people who may be returning adults, they may confuse Student Health Services with maybe a College of Health Professions program because they want to be in nursing, or they want to move into dental hygiene or respiratory or a physician assistant or any of those different health profession programs. So Student Health, we are a unique situation. We are a college health medical clinic. So this is where you would come if you had any kind of illnesses. All students who are currently enrolled in 1 credit hour or more are eligible for our services, and it's just for students. So we basically, make sure all of our services are curtailed to what students' needs, and not just your traditional kind of student who's 18, but we also have a lot of students who are non-traditional, and sometimes they're in between health insurances, or maybe they have a different situation where they're not under their parents' insurance anymore. And so this is a good way to get health care that is cheap, that is very convenient and accessible to you as a student. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to actually have my screen pop up and show that how you get onto our website. And where did it go? There it goes. Okay. This is always difficult for me for some reason. There we go. Can you see our student health site, Jenna?
Yep, you are good.
Okay, so our Wichita State Student Health Services website is actually wichita.edu/SHS. And here you're going to get a lot of information. And I know some of you may be concerned about COVID and how that looks like on our campus. And so on all sites, when you first log into the wichita.edu website, you'll see this COVID-19 button up here that's actually red. And there is a lot of information that talks about the free COVID testing that we do at Student Health. And you just make appointments for that through our patient portal. It talks about the vaccines that are available as a student for free, and you make appointments through that in a different way, but still free, and through Student Health Services. So I want you to, really pay attention to that COVID-19 button, because that's where you could find a lot of information for COVID. This is our actual website, though, Student Health. We are located in the YMCA on campus, the Steve Clark YMCA. And inside the Steve Clark YMCA is a separate part of the building that's called the Student Wellness Center. And in that location is our clinic, as well as the Counseling and Prevention Services clinic. They are on the second floor and we're on the first floor. So it's very convenient. There's lots of parking around the building. We actually have a couple of parking spots for people who may have injured themselves and can't walk, or really, really sick and need to come in. So I find that this is a lot more accessible to students than our previous site. We moved here in January 2020, and we really love our new facility. We're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. You can make appointments online, or you can call us, and our phone number is 316-978-4792. And this is the main page right here. And if you want to kind of check out what it looks like, you can click on this button, and there's a great video that shows our facility and a little bit more information. We are following all COVID protocols for healthcare facilities, so you do have to wear a mask when you come in. But other than that, you may have heard that the WSU campus itself no longer requires masks, but it really encourages people to wear their mask and to continue social distancing and maintaining that 6 feet away from people. What I do want to show you, though, is how to get to our My Straka Health portal, and that's this button right here. And the nice thing about the portal, it's like a patient portal like any other doctor's office. You go online and you log into this portal with your MyWSU ID and password, and that's where you can make appointments for even COVID testing. It's where you can actually instant message a provider. And I know a lot of non-traditional students who work all day long and only attend classes at night, they don't have the time to ask questions of a healthcare provider or make appointments. And that instant message function is really important for those kind of students. So, you know, you always have a healthcare provider that'll answer you, maybe not right away, but within 24 hours or so, unless it's on the weekend. And we can assist you through that instant messaging and kind of define whether or not you need an appointment and have to come in, or maybe it's something we can do through the portal. Other things you can do on the portal is if you don't happen to have money the day that you came for your appointment, we can put that money on the portal and you can pay it later. We also have the ability to have you look at your immunization. So let's say you are in the College of Health Professions and you have to get a physical and a tuberculosis test, then those kind of things can be found on the immunization list in your portal. We can send you, let's say we had to send you a letter for some kind of program and we typed out that letter, we can send that to you through the portal. So it kind of eliminates those visits of having to come onto campus if you don't really need to. So we're really proud of that portal. We encourage you to get in there, look around, enable the text message function because you'll get text message reminders of appointments. You'll get a text message if there is a message from student health back to you. So I really encourage you to check that out. The other thing that you can find on our site is actually the drop downs over here. And there's lots of different things over here. It talks about different facilities here in Wichita. If you're not a Wichitan, you can look here and see what other facilities that are available on the weekends, maybe when we are closed, a little bit about our healthcare providers and who's all here at our clinic, talking about our vaccines that we are doing for COVID right now. One thing I do want you to kind of look at is this forms link. And on here may be some things that you are needing to look at. Maybe you have to isolate because you tested positive for COVID. Or maybe here, maybe you have some program that you need a physical exam for, but you want to go to your own doctor's office. This is the form you might print out for that. If you're in the College of Health Professions, you're not really sure what you need, there's a checklist here of things that we normally require for healthcare profession students. So this forms page has a lot of information. The other thing that I wanted to show you is the health insurance tab. We do file health insurance. We file it currently for Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna, and United Healthcare Student Resources. And we are moving into United Healthcare as well. So we are in network with all of these insurance plans. And so you can show us your insurance card and we will file your claim for those different types of insurances. If you have any questions, we do have a specific person who takes care of those for you, but she's really good about explaining insurance claims and what that means. But you can either pay cash, credit, or charge for your services that you get here at Student Health Services, or you can also use your health insurance. Another link that I think you might want to check out is medications. We have what we call an institutional drug room here at WSU Student Health. And what that means is we have prescriptions here. You don't have to go off campus and fill your prescription for an antibiotic or whatever it is that you may need for whatever illness that you have. We do have some medicines that you can purchase from us. A lot of them are your typical antibiotics or creams. It may have like a steroid pack or anything like that that you may need. You do have to see one of our providers. So that's not something that you can walk up to the window with a prescription from your own physician to give us to have filled. You have to see one of our providers. But here's some information about our prescriptions. And then another thing you might want to check out is all of the over-the-counter medications that you can come and purchase from us, because we have a lot of options. And just to give you an example how cheap our services are, you can get a 30-day supply of Claritin for like $2.77. And that is like that for all medicines. It's just super, super cheap. So that's a link that you might want to check out. Some other information on here is some travel information, vaccination information, some wellness resources, how to get in touch with the counseling prevention services, or maybe you want to look at getting involved in the YMCA and getting, being able to work out over there, or you want to go and use the pool at the Heskett Center, whatever it may be. The last thing I kind of want to show you on these 2 pages are some requirements that we have. This is some information about meningitis, and that only applies to people who may be living in the residence halls. Do you have any of those, Jenna, this year that you know of?
Most Shocker Pathway students do not live on campus,
Okay.
but that does not mean that any of our ladies would be. In the 3 years I've been here, I think I've had 2 students living on campus. So
perfect. So the meningitis, that particular requirement only applies to housing students. One thing that you will see that you do need to complete is a tuberculosis screening, and you'll get an email about that. If you do not, you might go to your MyWSU page, and on that very front page of your MyWSU page, you'll find at the very bottom in the center of the page a tuberculosis questionnaire, and that is required, but it's just the questionnaire. You don't have to submit TB tests to us. You just need to fill out that questionnaire. It's 4 questions, and once you complete it, you are complete with that unless you identify something that we need to follow up on, and then you'll get a call from us directly. But this is information about the tuberculosis prevention program. All new students have to complete a tuberculosis questionnaire, and we will follow up with you if we need to for anything that it may require you to do a TB test after that. But really the requirement is just the 4 questions. And then the rest of the information on our website has some policies. And then the last link here is about our different services. And basically it's just like your own doctor's office, sore throats, ankle sprains, different things like that that require you to see a healthcare provider. We have nurse practitioners here. We also have physicians. We have some specialists. We do mental health medication prescriptions for students, and that is a psychiatric nurse practitioner who does that. We also have an OBGYN physician that comes in, and we also have an ear, nose, and throat physician that comes in to see our students. And these services are really, really cheap. It's only $30 to $35 for an office visit. And then if you need anything else beyond that, we have really cheap lab work that we can do, blood work, or we can do a strep test or a COVID test or anything like that. And then, if you need any medications, we can always call it out for your pharmacy of choice, but we do usually have a lot of the medications that you might need. So that's a lot of information wrapped up into 10, 15 minutes. I'd like to kind of give this opportunity for you to ask some questions, because sometimes it reminds me of things I forgot to ask. I'm open for questions. Got anything, Jenna?
Sorry, I just hit print and my printer's super loud. Hold on. We We do have one question. Is Student Health Services open during the summer?
It is. We are open pretty much Monday through Friday all the time, unless it's a national holiday. So even during spring breaks, we're open. Fall breaks, we're open. We usually only close for a week and a half or so around Christmas, and that's when the university itself closes. But other than that, you can find us here except on major holidays. So like Memorial Day, we're not. And in the summer, you know, still, even if you took classes in the spring, but you're not taking classes in the summer, you can still use our services. So that's great. We know students are coming back in the fall usually, and if they've graduated, even then we can see them for the whole summer until fall classes start. And then we kind of expect that that's giving you some time maybe to find a healthcare provider in your community. But yeah, currently enrolled, and at least 1 credit hour or more gives you eligibility to our services. That's a great question.
Yeah, thanks, Veronica. That was great. I do have a question.
Okay.
I know that other services like CAPS or stuff like that, they have a limit on how many times you can use our services. Is Student Health Services similar, or is that?
No, we really don't even keep track of that. Honestly, you know, if you're, you know, and we have students who have standing appointments for things like allergy desensitization shots. So they found some items that they were allergic to, and then we give them a shot every 2 weeks or so. Those students build up those appointments pretty fast all year long. And no, there's no limit.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else have any other questions? That was a great question.
You know, if it may be something, you have your own doctor here in Wichita, and that's great. We encourage you to stay with your own doctor because that's somebody you're familiar with, somebody you're comfortable with. But sometimes you may need something that's totally out of the blue. Maybe you need a tuberculosis test because you're in the College of Education and you're about to go observe in the classrooms. Or maybe you just need a quick physical because you're in the medical technology program. We can do those things for you super cheap that you may not be able to get into your doctor's offices for right away. So we're just another option for you then. Thanks, Pauline. I guess no questions for me, Jenna.
All right. So thank you guys. Was there anything else that you wanted to share with the students today, Heather?
No, I'm just going to put our email address here so that maybe you do have some personal questions, or we encourage you to ask personal questions directly through our patient portal. But if you have any other questions, you can always email us at student.health@wichita.edu, and we will get back to you pretty quickly.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm going to put up my last slide just so you guys have, maybe, now I'm struggling.
Oh, I need to stop sharing probably.
You have.
I did?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that, or I forced you off of there. What to do? Okay, can you see that okay?
Yep.
Perfect. Just as I mentioned, if you could go ahead and fill out the survey, you can either scan the QR code there on your screen, or I just put the link in the chat. That again helps me know who is here today, but it also enters you to win all of the good things. And if either of you have attended the Academic Success Week at WSU Tech, I stole that idea from Britton, who runs that. So thank her for the scholarship opportunity and drawing. If you guys don't
can I say one more thing, Jenna?
Yeah, go for
it. If you are a WSU Tech student, you're eligible to come over and get a vaccine from us right now. I mean, we are seeing both WSU and WSU Tech students for vaccines, and starting May 1st, you can make appointments for your family members, household family members who live with you, up to 4 people. So that's accessible to you as well.
That's a great point. I didn't even think to ask that. Yeah, the fair is for current WSU Tech students, so anyone in these sessions should be eligible for that, which is awesome. We do have another question. Do we set up those appointments online for the vaccine?
Yes. So I'm going to put this down. You go to the My WSU webpage. Go ahead.
Students won't have access to that.
They do. They have a WSU ID. We've had students and WSU faculty already schedule with us. They should know their WSU ID. They can get it from the WSU Tech people.
Okay.
So they made them specially. Yep, they made them specially for WSU Tech employees and students.
Okay.
And when you log in, you'll use that My WSU ID and password. And then you will find that on the My WSU page under the Home tab.
So Veronica, so pathway students get that ID number when they sign up for the Shocker pathway anyway. They just don't usually do anything with that until they're ready to transfer. So, and I don't remember, Veronica, when you're planning to transfer, but that is something you'll set up anyway. So you can go ahead and set up that ID and password. And if you have questions about that, I walk through that with students almost every day. So if you have questions about how to set up your password, I cannot release your ID number to you, but your tech advisor, either Mika or Shelby, can get that for you. They'll have it. And then you'd be able to log in there on that Home tab. And if you have trouble with that, literally half of my job is helping students navigate that when they're ready to transfer. So just holler at me. I can help you navigate.
Or you can email us too, and we can help you out.
And I'm going to put my contact info in here as well. There's a general Shocker pathway email, and then also my personal one, just in case you need that. That was a great question. I don't know why I didn't think about asking that. So if you guys have any other questions, please feel free to either stick them in the chat, or if you feel so inclined, you can unmute and talk to us. Make sure you fill out that survey, and you're welcome to jump off as soon as you get that completed or have the survey opened. But thank you guys for coming. Heather, thank you for presenting. And we'll hang out here until we make sure everybody's good to go. And I am going to stop the recording too.